July 7th, 1976, Wabash Carnegie Public Library Oral History Program, interviewing Wellington McKinney at his home, 23 Park Avenue, Peru, Indiana. Mack, the first question I'm going to ask you is, tell me about your parents and where you were born and what their background was and everything.
Well, my parents was Charles McKinney and Elizabeth Jefferson. My father was from West Virginia and my mother was from Indiana. One was English and one was Irish. It made a bad mixture for the kids. And that's about all I know about them.
Tell me about your father and about how he got here and so forth.
Well, my father, the Virginians moved out to Henry County, Indiana, and he was a boy, 12 years old, and his brother-in-law, they come through by wagons, and his brother-in-law told him he'd come with him if he'd walk and need a colt. And he walked from West Virginia out to Newcastle, Indiana, at Henry County, and led that colt to pay his way, and he stayed there, and never went back.
And what did he do then? What happened to your father?
Well, they raised him there on the farm and stuff on the farm, and then he had been with his stepmother back in Virginia. She was a doctor, cancer doctor. He learned her tricks and trades there around Cheat Mountain, and that's out of Fairmont. Oh, and his brother come out here, and they opened up a business and doctored and run a drugstore in Newcastle. That's before my time. And he came out here to Peru. He got in the racehorse business. He come out here with the racehorses. And in '93 depression come along, and he had to sell the horses to live on. And I was born about then. I was born in '93. That's about all I know about him getting out here.
Yeah. Didn't you tell me that your father, did he practice medicine or anything?
Yeah, yeah.
Where?
Right here, Peru.
He practiced in Peru?
Yeah.
Yeah. And why did he give it up?
He didn't have a license. Couldn't get a license. They passed some. Oh, they passed some law. You had to have some college degree or something to get a license. He couldn't get the license, so they stopped him practicing.
Then what did he do?
Well, then he practiced through Eichenberry's. Old A. and Frank Eichenberry were two doctors. They were very prominent, very good doctors. And he just worked for them, went along with them, and showed them how. Kept that up for several years, and finally that fizzled out.
And then what?
Then went oil field.
Where were the oil fields then?
East Peru, what they called. They come into Peru and run about the Rich Valley. And he had worked in the oil fields when he was a kid down in West Virginia. He knew something about them. And when they sprung up new here, that was a good job for him. He worked with them several years. And finally got on a farm up in Wabash County. He was what they call a field boss in the oil field.
How did he acquire the farm?
Rented.
Did he ever buy it?
No, he never owned a farm. Up there, he did in Ohio, but he never did up there.
And then you came along then?
Yeah, and I was born in Peru. I lived in Peru. I was born on East Main Street, Peru. And it was, I guess I was 7 years old when we moved on the farm. Then we moved on the big farm, the Unger farm. I was 14 years old.
How did he make a living off of this farm?
Oh, farmers. We were big farmers. About 150 acres of corn. That was big for them days. We worked on mules. So then things happened, and he had made some money, and he went to high. I had a brother that was out there, and was working around in the dairy business. And found out about buying a dairy farm. He got my dad to sell out here and come out there and buy a dairy farm. Make sure he warmed up that.
What year was that he bought the dairy farm?
Oh, let's see.
Before World War II?
Oh, yeah. About 1924.
Yeah. But you stayed here then?
Yeah, I was married, and I lived up where I am for him.
Yeah. Okay. Let's go back and tell me about the farm and where you went to school and about cutting wood and all that.
Yeah, well.
On this farm here east of Peru.
Yeah. All right, that's up here at Higley Curve. Well, I become school age while I lived there. And I went to school up on top of the hill, the California school up on top of Nicholson Hill.
The school's still there, by the way, except it's a house.
Yeah. And went up there and went there about 2 years. And I was about 7 and moved over to Wabash County, and I went to school there on 24 at Corey School. We lived right west of that. That old school never done.
How many years total?
I suppose about 6 or 7.
Yeah.
I imagine about 6 or 7 years.
And then what did you do?
Oh, I went to work for my dad on the farm, and then from then on I learned pretty young. I learned to run a steam engine pretty young. We got a flash machine. I flashed. And I went west and done lots of flashing in the west. Went west every year. I was what they call a steam engineer. I flashed in the Dakotas and Montana, and I went to Kansas one time when the flashing was done. It was too early. And flashing was over.
You were ahead of your time, huh?
Yeah.
Let's go back a little bit and tell me about cutting wood and where you took it and how you sold it and how much you got.
Oh, yeah. Well, me and Higley boys, Joe Higley's boys, and 3 of them, John, Bill, and Frank, me, we cut wood. What they call the Hedrick farm. We got all the cut. And so they were cutting, and I was in school, and they got me out of school to help them. I was a pretty stout boy. And we cut wood and then rig it up in the summertime, then we'd haul it in town and sell it. And we sold lots of tavern keepers in Wabash. I sold Ernie Hippensparter, Cooney Harmon, old man, up on the side of it. I can think of that.
When you would cut this wood to bring it into town, how much would they use and how much would they pay you, and how would you get it
Well, we got $2 a cord, but we hauled 3 quarters a load. We got $6 for a load.
And how many would they use usually?
Well,
would you lay in there?
I can remember Ernie Hippensparter. He was the best customer I had, I think. And he put in 100. 100 cord. And we had to put the cellar and rig it up. And he always bought us kids, we were, and he'd always bring us down some beer and some lunch. I remember that very plain.
Now, would you take a wagon into town?
Oh, yeah.
With mules or
Yep,
horses?
Yeah, horses. And horses.
What-
Yeah. Sometimes we worked 4-horse teams. Sometimes, just if the roads are good, just 2 horses. Or if it's bad, we put on another team.
What were the roads like, and what were the streets like in Wabash?
Main Street was the only street paved. And the rest was just cobblestone and brick. But Main Street was the only paved street in Wabash. And the roads had mud holes in them and stuff. You had to watch them going up hills, you get stuck.
That's what we call 24 now.
Yeah.
That was just a mud road?
Yeah. Oh, yeah.
How long would it take you to make that trip by wagon from out there to
Well,
the curve?
if we loaded in the morning, get up, and we get back at noon, then we'd load up to the next day.
Yeah.
1 trip a day. That was, we counted 5 miles.
Tell me, what was it like living on a farm when you were a little boy? Tell me about the house and how you heated the house and so forth. Just like you were talking to your grandchildren.
Oh, yeah.
Well, they won't believe us anyhow.
No. Well, yeah, we lived there. I'm talking about the farm on Higley Curve. Alvy Taylor, an old lawyer in Wabash, owned that farm. He was an old Civil War vet. And very nice old people, and wasn't rich, but they were well-to-do. And we raised quite a bit of stock, sheep, cattle, hogs. And I remember when Teddy Roosevelt was running on the Bull Moose ticket. My dad sold a drove of hogs. And we didn't have wagons to haul them. We drove them afoot over the road. And it was 2.5 miles from where we lived to Rich Valley. That's where it was delivered. And he had about 100 head. And Tom Ingeman had more than we did, so a certain day they sold them. Tom Ingeman was a neighbor east of us. And we started the night before and drove all night and then wound up down there the next day. It took all night while it was cool. And they got a nickel a pound of them hogs. And they had big write-ups in the paper, and that was the highest hogs ever sold around Wabash County. And then they thought that because old Teddy was going to be the president, there's all bull moosers. They thought he's going to be the president, he's just going to inflate things and make everything get good. They found out he didn't get it. Yeah. Now, I'm talking about Rich Valley. There might be something interesting. We ordered lots of stuff from Sharon Roebuck and Montgomery Morgue. In fact, with the law of clothes and stuff. My mother take a book, write them out, and send me. Get a money order from the mailman, and send it in. And Rich Valley was Rich Valley, and Keller Station was Keller Station. There's 2 names. Keller Station was down the railroad. And then old Pop Small and some of them old fellows come along, and they went up about 2 blocks north of it and built a store and called it Rich Valley. But we found out in our ordering, if we ordered Rich Valley, there's a post office there. And if we ordered things to come to Rich Valley, it cost us more than Keller Station. We'd come in to Keller Station, and the station agent, which was Ed Keller, and he'd take care of our order for us, and this and that, And But they charged 25 cents extra. You just take that order from the station over to Rich Valley. There was Keller Station, there was Rich Valley. Keller Station was on the railroad. That was KS from a long time in the telegraph office.
KAS?
Yeah, KS.
KS.
Yeah. And that's interesting. No Keller Station was quite a joint.
Yeah. I'll bet it was.
Oh, yeah.
How about Boyd Park? Do you remember that?
Oh, yeah. When it built, when it was tore down.
Yeah. What was it like in its heyday?
Oh, very good. Boyd Park was quite a place way ahead of its time.
Mm-hmm.
If the people would have had automobiles, then they used to get there. Of course, it wouldn't have been built because the streetcar company built it so you'd ride a streetcar in there.
Mm-hmm.
And but if it had some way of getting there besides the streetcar, that would be going yet.
Mm-hmm.
Oh, they had a theater, dance pavilion, and they'd bring in like a big carnival, shooting galleries, and side shows, and a roller coaster. Had one of the biggest roller coasters in the country.
Mm-hmm.
Run with steam engine.
Mm-hmm.
I run that engine. I run the roller coaster.
You ran the engine?
Yeah, I was about 15 years old.
Yeah. Was that a permanent job or just a summer?
Oh, just summer job.
Yeah. How much did they pay you?
Don't remember. I think about $2 a day.
Yeah. Was that a lot of fun? A 15-year-old boy running?
Oh, yeah. Well, there wasn't many. Not even older men could run a steam engine. I learned steam engine business way back when I was a kid, working around with flashers and stuff.
Mm-hmm.
When I was 15, 16 years old, I could get a license.
Mm-hmm.
Yet in the West, you had to have a license.
Mm-hmm.
I went up and, well, farm boys up west of Wabash had a big farm around Albert Lee, Minnesota. I went up there and run engines for them a couple of years, and I was about 16 to 18. I got $5 a day.
Did you live on their farm?
Well, just in the bunk shacks.
Yeah.
They had a big crew,
Uh-huh.
big fleshing crew. Lived in the bunk shacks.
How would you get out to Albert Lee? On the train?
Yeah.
Were you familiar with their equipment out there as well as you were with the equipment?
Oh, yeah. All that steam stuff about them days come from the port.
Uh-huh.
Yeah. Old Tom Engelman, have you run into him in your...
No, I haven't.
Well, he's dead, but he lived there on a big farm right on up that road. And he bought a lot of land in Canada. He had two boys, Harley and Bill. And Harley was youngest, and he went up there and run the farm, I think. Yeah, about 1,800 acres. So they raised a big crop one year and couldn't get flesh, there wasn't no flesh machine. So the next year, old Tom took me with him and went to the port where he bought a flesh machine. I put it on a railroad train, shipped it to Canada, Brunk Hill, that's west of Winnipeg. Shipped it up there, and it got there, we were there. So I know it, and I run it that season from it. Got the wheel saved.
Was that a hard job?
No. Oh, a lot of hours. You get up about 3 or 4 o'clock, most about 9 at night. But no, running an engine on hard if things went good. If you had breakdowns and stuff, you had to repair them.
Could you run a steam engine out in the fields all day?
Yeah, I plowed all that up there. I plowed in China till Christmas till it froze up when I come home. After we got done threshing, it was about 30 days to thresh.
Were these about the same experiences that you would have had in Kansas and that doing that?
Yeah, it's all the same. Yeah. And I'd done that. Oh, I'd done that in Minnesota with the farm boys there. I'd done that there, and I'd done it in Montana and northern South Dakota. I'd worked all them.
Well, this must have been a big adventure for a young man like you.
Oh, yeah. I got to give it some water.
You said that you thrashed out there in the West until conditions got better?
Yeah, till it get cold.
Oh.
Freeze out, would come home.
Let's go back a little bit now and talk about the farm, about where you grew up and growing up itself. Tell me about typical Sunday, say, with your mother and father when you were a young boy of 9 or 10 years old. And
Well, Sundays, me and my daddy went fishing, and my mother stayed home and cooked a big dinner. And sometimes her and my sisters went to Rich Valley Church. My dad didn't go down there. He was Catholic. He didn't go down there. In fact, we didn't go to church nowhere much. But my dad was a great fisherman, and he learned me to be a great fisherman. That's when I was a little boy, growing up.
Now, what kind of a meal would your mother cook on?
All chicken. We had plenty to eat.
Do you remember anything in particular that she fixed that you particularly liked?
Yeah. In the wintertime, we always butchered a couple of beeves, a couple of cows. Of course, no refrigeration, no freezers, and we cold packed that meat in quart jars. Cut up chunks, put it in jars, and cooked it 3 hours, and then open them up as you need them in the summer.
But these...
That was the best eating we had.
Yeah, now this meat was really in its own fat, wasn't it?
Oh, yeah.
Yeah, it was just like packed in lard.
Yeah.
Yeah. And then when your mother was ready to use it, how would she do it?
Oh, she'd take it out and cook it up with potatoes and stuff, have a beef stew.
Did she do much baking?
Oh, yeah, she's done all her baking. We used to have white bread on Sunday sometimes. I remember that. It was back when we lived at Peru, when I was a little kid. And we'd have white bread. We'd glad Sunday come, we got white bread. Button bread. And we got 4 loaves. If I remember right, about like a sandwich loaf, but it wasn't sliced and it wasn't wrapped. And we got 4 to 6 loaves for a quarter. But she still bought the flour. We took our wheat that's out and had it ground, made it in the flour, and then stored it. That's when we lived on the farm. But she always baked bread. Which was a lot better than the boughten bread, but those kids that bought them was like cake to us.
That was a treat, huh?
Yeah.
How about, you told me last time you and I were talking about your father taking you back to the cemetery. Was that your father that took you?
Yeah.
Tell the story so the grandchildren maybe enjoy it.
Well, I lived out in Rowan. That's actually way after I married Norris. I'm talking way back from this stuff. Oh, about 26 or 7, I say. His brother out in Newcastle died. And my father lived in Ohio, and he'd come home. Did the funeral, I in Ford. I took him to the funeral. The funeral was at a place they called Lou Ray, out there in Newcastle over town. And while I was at the funeral and I had the services, and then my dad come to me and said, I want to go show you something while we're here, and took me over an old grave. And tombstone there had McKinney on it, just a little slab. I said, there's my first wife and my baby. And I'd never knew he had a first wife. And of course, I was 28, 30 years old. And that's my first wife and my baby. And I said, I want to tell you. He said, I never told you kids nothing about it. But he said, every time I mentioned it, your mother would always cry. It would touch her off. And he said, we agreed that when we were married, we'd never talk about my first wife. He said, that's my first wife, but baby.
Were you surprised?
Yeah. Me and my sisters was there. My sister was Earl Unger's wife. You know him?
Yes.
Well, he's my brother-in-law.
Mm-hmm.
He's out at the nursing home.
How many boys and girls were there in the family? We should have established this earlier.
2 boys and 2 girls.
And where did you fit in age?
I was the oldest boy.
And then how?
The oldest sister was Ethel, then me, then Ruth, and then Russell.
So you were the oldest boy.
Yeah. 6 years older than my brother.
How did you celebrate Christmas as a kid on the farm?
Oh, as a kid, we hung our stocking up. We had a big old fireplace. Hung our stocking up, and we'd get an orange and stuff in it. That's the only orange I ever seen for Christmas. We always got an orange Christmas.
Was that a big treat?
Yeah. We look forward to that orange one.
Did you have any gifts or anything?
Oh, yeah. I remember getting a sled one time for Christmas. Bought always got a new pair of boots. We wore a lot of boots. Bought always, my dad always got us a pair of boots. And my mother makes a shirt or something. She'd make them.
Did you have a Christmas tree?
Oh, yeah.
Well, this was before the lights.
Oh, yeah. I had candles.
Candles.
And I remember stringing popcorn, making strings of popcorn to decorate with us kids. A week or two before time to put up the Christmas tree, we'd pop big dish pan full of popcorn, big grains, big kernels. String that on a string, had ropes of it, and put it all around the Christmas tree. That was a trimming.
That and candles were the
Yeah,
decorations?
and I had candles, little candles, and there was on a little quarter that you just pinned on a limb. And it watched pretty close to set the tree afire.
You kids didn't get to play with that too much then.
That was under strict supervision and everything. Well, of course, as we got bigger, but no, we didn't. At home, I never lived where I had electric lights. The old Earl Unger farm out there now, that was Earl's father's farm. And we lived on that. That didn't have no electric lights. They had coal lights. That was one of the best houses in the country. More up to date. Now, I didn't see this, but the old man under that's Earl's father told me this. They was there in this house. And one night they seen a big light in the sky. And they watched it. And it didn't move, just stayed there. They hit the team up the wagon and picked his wife. Earl was the only kid they had, but they had some nephews stayed with them, kids. They raised his family for her brother. They loaded that wagon, and they laid the whip for the team, and they went to Wabash, see what that big light was, and the first light on the courthouse. They'd seen that from out there, and didn't know they was going to light or anything, and they went down the wagon to see that thing. He said there were just dozens and dozens of wagon loads of families coming in to see that light. They'd seen the light and come down to see it.
I'll be there. That's how bright it was.
Yeah, well, just the same thing now. Nothing about it.
Yeah, true.
It's the same light. Well, not the same light, but the same operation they got now. They got a light on the courthouse.
Yeah, right. They still have the 4 lights up there.
And you can see it out there on Earl's farm. And up there, and that light just shows up like a big... Well, and that wasn't too many years before we moved over to that place. It was when Earl was a kid.
I'll tell you, do you remember your grandparents?
No, nothing. I seen a grandfather a few times, that's all. Don't remember anything.
Who was he? Which side?
He was a little bit of old Englishman, drank a lot of whiskey, and his name was William Jefferson. That's all I know about him.
What did he look like? You say little, I mean...
He was a little, Oh, yeah, very small man. Wore whiskers. That's all I can remember.
Do you, tell me what your mother looked like. What did your mother look like?
My mother was a big woman, and always worried about.
So we were talking about your mother, and you said that she was a woman that weighed over 200 pounds, and she was always worried about her weight?
Worried about her weight, and she's going to die young. Used to call us kids all around her and tell us now, I'm going to die young, and don't let your daddy get married again.
Was she serious?
Yeah, oh yeah, and crying and telling us, and she had us kids till we were older to realize better. That she had us scared to death all the time. We were afraid every time we come to the house we would go look for her.
Yeah.
And but she always had in her head she's going to be found dead, and my dad would go out and get another woman, bring stepmother over. That was her worry, and which was nothing to it. I don't think she ever got married again. Always wanted, but that was always her worry, and she's very severe mother. She give us kids good switching. I could behave. We were well-behaved kids. Still, that was get out and do things.
How old did she live till?
It could be up in her 80s.
Yeah.
Lived 20 years younger than her. No, not 20, but 10, 12 years longer than my father did. He died in early 70s, and she lived up to me.
What did she die of, Mack?
Just natural old age.
Was she big right up to the end?
No, she lost a lot of weight, but she was a big woman.
What did she die of?
Just, I don't know. They lived out in the Highland, and I wasn't around them much. Several years I didn't see her. She lived with my sister at the Hurrington, Fort Hurrington. She lived there, but the last time I seen her, they had kind of a party. I was out there, took my family out there. Had kind of a party for us, and she was up, and we were dancing, having a big time around the house there. And the next time I heard from her, she was bedfast, and I went out to see her. And she was bedfast, and one moment after that, she died.
Where is she buried?
At the Ohio, Kent, Ohio.
In Canton or Kent?
Kent.
K-E-N-T?
Yeah, K-E-N-T.
Yeah, do you remember the cemetery or?
No, just Kent. So I know it's correct. Her and my father and see, they all the family got out there but me.
They left you behind, huh?
Yeah. Well, I was married here.
Yeah, right.
And I live in Upper Rwanda. I'm going up to the lake and going. Yeah. When they went to Ohio, they wanted me to sell out and go with them. I didn't do it. My mother and my wife never hitched too good. Well, anyhow, they all buried. My father buried there, my mother and my sister. Her name was Harrington. She's buried there. My brother-in-law was buried there in Harrington. All in that Kent. We just called it Kent Cemetery.
How about your father? What did he look like?
Well, he was a mighty fine-looking man when he spruced up. Always had a little brown mustache. Wasn't a very big man, but he was brown eyes and dark red hair. Had a real red hair. I'm near bald as any McKinney ever was.
Oh, really?
Any McKinney of the name always had a big bushy hair, head of hair. I got about the least of any I ever seen.
Do any of your children or the grandchildren look like your dad, do you think? Favor your father's size and looks at all?
Yeah, Chubby, my youngest boy, he puts in mind my dad quite a bit.
Do any of the girls remind you of your mother in size? Or
Yeah, both girls did.
they look like mother did?
Yeah, Earl and his wife and Fort Hurrington's wife. They both was big, fat, heavy men.
I'll be darned.
And then my brother up now, he lived in Yetford. It was Venice. He just put an image of my dad there. One of the enactments. shyster in a lot of ways, but he's a pretty good boy. He married a Wabash girl. Harvey, called him Harvey.
Now, how about, were there any relatives around that you remember as a kid meeting or seeing that had been in the Civil War?
Oh, yeah.
Who were they?
I think my dad had about 3, 4, 5 brothers in the Civil War.
Mm-hmm.
Older than him. He was the youngest one of the flock of about 11 or 12 back there in West Virginia. And and some of them I remember. There was Tommy, Hyman, Lehman, Bennett, and one they called Doc. I don't know what his name was. I just knew he was Doc. And they'd all been in the war. And then some uncles of some of Dad's sisters, man, they've been in the war. And one telling you the other day, he had his mouth all shot out. A mini ball had a bugle when he was playing it. He was a bugler boy, 12 years old. And he was riding with some general, and they told him to play something, you know. Bugle hit that, go right in his mouth, and he never could eat right.
What did he do then? Did he?
Well, I guess that was maybe the end of his bugling. I know he never could play a bugle.
That sort of slow you down, wouldn't it?
Yeah, but he was 12 years old when he went. He was a northerner. Now, some of them boys were southerners. There was two sides of that family. Now, my old granddad was a northerner, but he had 2 of these boys who went with the southerners, and they met in battle a few times. Uncle Bennett, he come to Newcastle and go to farm off. That's when my dad led the horse up for. My dad was watching something. They had some horses corralled somewhere with the Federal Army, you know. And so my granddad pulled up to shoot a guy who was sneaking in. And then marked his rifle on him and he said, "Dad, don't shoot. I think that's Bill." And he was a Confederate. He was sneaking in to steal the horses. And I guess afterwards they took over and it was him. So there was about 30 boys on each side. And a couple of them got killed. That's hearsay.
Yeah.
You know. But my dad was he was born in 53, so you know, in 61 come along about how big of a way was he remember it.
Let's go back to your career then. You've been thrasher and woodcutter, and
Yep.
you're about ready to get married, I assume. What were you doing then?
I was in the Army.
When you got married?
Mm-hmm.
All right, let's talk about how you got in the Army. Were you drafted?
That's like their Wabash.
And
Then I can't remember. Hepmansburger and Ogden. And I think there were 12 or 13 of us went at the same time.
but tell me where you went, what you did, and what happened.
Well, we went to Camp Sherman.
Mm-hmm.
That's where we lived. You know. And we took her. Well, I was there about 2 months. Then I got shipped out of there. They was forming a motor convoy down around Baltimore. They're making up motor trains. And everything was going through Baltimore motorized. And went down there and got the motor train and shipped us across. I got hurt just a little bit. Got my back hurt between 2 trucks. I didn't get shot. and I got sent back. I heard and got back. And I got, I was home here 3 or 4 or 5 months. Not home, up in Hopkins Hospital. But I got able-bodied again, you know, so they sent me back. I just got back there and know where it was over.
Mm-hmm.
We was in Brest, France. So I missed the fighting, but traveling back and forth.
You were overseas twice then.
Yeah, just over and back.
Well, how long were you in altogether then?
About 2 years and 4 months. I was in 17, got out in 19.
Total of 2 years and 4 months.
Yeah.
Anything unusual happened while you were in, or?
Oh, no. Of course, we won the war. When we come back to New York, they had a hell of a big parade for us, about 4 or 5 days. Everybody got drunk and lost the trucks. When they shipped us, they shipped the trucks with us. Our vehicles went with us. They shipped us back to New York. And, of course, we got away from them, and here's a bunch of civilians who buy us gasoline. Hell, we'd take them over to New York. We'd be glad to see the town. And but I think out of 60-some trucks, I think they lost about 20. None of them ever.
What kind of trucks were those?
Mostly Liberty. That was a big truck. Well, they put them together right here in Wabash, the old commercial truck factory.
Mm-hmm.
There was an assembled truck from one part to another part.
Mm-hmm.
Then, we had Model T ambulances. They was in there, and they had Dodges. The best little ambulance they had for 1-2-man ambulance was Dodge. Then they built one over at the White, over in Ohio, a white truck for them at
Cleveland?
Cleveland. Called that a commercial. That's the only one that ever had the wind tires. The rest was all solid tire.
Mm-hmm.
And that thing would run. That was for the Air Force.
Mm-hmm.
That thing would run 50, 60 miles an hour. But that was made for the Air Force.
Uh-huh.
And that's the only one that was on soft tires. All them big Liberties they were a mammoth thing. They would haul 10, 15 tons. And hook them up in trains and down through, and then move troops in them. They didn't move troops so much with trucks. They didn't have enough trucks to move the troops. The troops walked.
Mm-hmm.
I went to Botsford. Those old Liberties, they were a wonderful truck. They had just churn, they had a motor in them, putting as big as a diesel motor in one of these locomotives. They were a wonderful thing.
Were they chain drive or direct drive? Or?
Chain.
Mm-hmm. With solid tires, it must have been rough riding.
Yeah. Oh, God, yeah. You know you've been somewhere, you go up, start going on 25, 30 miles, then you know you've been somewhere.
Did you get married while you were in the Army, you said?
The resident wanted to come back, yeah.
Tell me how you met your wife.
Well, I always knew her at South. She lived at South Wabash. I always knew her. Married him, just got married.
Did you meet her at a dance? Or?
No. Hell no, she knew his name.
Where did you meet her?
I don't remember.
How long did you go with her before you married her?
Maybe a couple of years.
You got married in Wabash?
Yeah. Dawes. Preacher Dawes used to preach in the Prayer Church married us. I can't think of the next person.
Where did you go to set up housekeeping?
Right there in Wabash.
On
South side down there on Middle Street.
And what were you doing then? What did you decide to do?
Well, right then I was working for ODA Pipe Lumber Company. I run a steam engine run sawmill. And then I went to work after that for Ackerman, Charlie Ackerman, where they pull gravel out of the river. Well, I run that outfit.
Again, steam.
Yeah. I was pulled east of there, and then I run I guess I worked for the city. I worked for old Bob Smith was street commissioner. And that's 13 flood now. I'll jump ahead a little bit. Back a little bit. That levee from the river bridge up to Bradley Store for the hill all washed out. And they had to refill that. I run a steamroller on that. All winter and all summer. I think 8-9 months of it. And I better not tell the rest
You're
of it.
smiling. What's
Well, some funny thing comes
what
in.
happened?
Well, along the levee was a lot of house prostitution.
Right.
There wasn't a lot, but there were several.
Yeah.
And of course, I knew of it. So one time they kept bringing me out drinks. I run right back and forth around the house, and they kept giving me a jug. And I got drunk and I fell off a roller backwards. And the roller run on down, and somebody seen it and shut the door. So they took me in the house and doctored me up. And old Bob Smith, my boss, said, "What was the matter with you yesterday?" And I said, "I just got drunk and fell off the damn roller. A great big seat sit way up high." And he said, "I think that's so." He said, "If you lied to me, I'd fire you." He said, "You go on and don't drink quite so damn much." That's what I was laughing about.
Yeah. Well, yeah, I've had some of the others have told me about that area down in there.
You have Little Winfield, Jack Owen, and, I don't know, Davey.
Hard to believe that the
Yeah.
town supported one.
Oh, shit, there were 6 or 8 down there.
Yeah. Now that would have been right down on
South Wabash, between the foot of the hill, you go down there.
Right.
Before you come up to Canal Street, the hill goes down.
Right.
From there, Third River Bridge, that's all levee.
Yeah.
That all washed out was way down low. Hell, they hauled in there with teams of horses and everything for months. And we run this roller back and forth to pack it. And I worked on that when they built it. And I worked in that cut, Walnut Tree Cut, one winter when they was building it.
What year would that have been? After the war or before?
No, before.
Before the war.
Yeah.
What'd you do there?
Worked on steam shovel. I always get back to steam.
I noticed that.
Yeah.
How did they? That was a pretty big project in those
Oh,
days.
yeah. They moved that stuff all out of teams and wagons.
Yeah. Did they do any use dynamite or anything in those?
Oh, yeah. Oh, yeah.
But that was only a 2-lane cut in those days.
Yeah,
And then they came back in the 40s and.
Yeah, made it bigger, yeah. Oh, yeah. But before, the road used to go east and then wind around and come back around over the hill. You had to go about 2 miles to get back where you would just up through the cut. Yeah, I helped work through that cut. Conover and Tabor were the contractors. Then I didn't stay there. I was in cold weather. I know it was awful cold. Everything freezing up in water, Because on a steam engine, you gotta have a lot of water. Pipes are freezing and busting and stuff. It was a hell of a job. Then I went up to Minnesota and double tracking on Burlington. I went up there and worked on that. Left there and the highway up. Oh, La Crosse, Wisconsin, that's where we was. Winona, Minnesota. We always called it Highway.
In building the cut, how long did it take them to hack that out?
I think a couple of years. I think they worked for most of 2 years on that. I didn't work that long, but I think they did. But I worked there through one winter, maybe 3 months, 4 months, something, through the cold weather.
Was the creamery down there then?
Yeah, yeah. They built a can factory there after the creamery.
Okay, one other thing, older man was telling me the other day that there used to be an incinerator, a garbage incinerator down on the other side. Do you remember anything like that?
Yeah. They did have a place they hauled the garbage in bunks down there.
That you do remember, because he can't find anyone else who remembers it even.
I was out east of what you call a creamery. The creamery was ahead of me a little bit. Oh, I got Earl Hunter hauled milk in that creamery. He was my brother-in-law. He had a team of horses and a milk wagon. He hauled milk in there. And, of course, he's quite a bit older than me. He's 12 years older than me. So, you know, his damn horses run off and spilled all his milk one day. Then Charlie Latcham started a canning factory.
But there was an incinerator or
Yeah,
garbage...
up east of that.
East of it.
Last time I passed him, then, say, 4 or 5 years ago, I passed it on between there and the other bridge, you know. They had that all full of all these floors are going on. You call them gladiolus. That's where the old singing used to be.
Yes. I think it's a cornfield this summer.
I don't know.
Cornfield this summer.
But right east of that building I'm talking about is a canning factory and creamery you're talking about.
Did you ever work for any of the other factories around there?
No.
Paper or straw board?
Yeah, I worked on the straw board.
What'd you do there?
Fired.
In the steam boilers again?
Yeah, steam boilers.
Yeah. And tell me what it was like down there.
Oh, them were pretty good jobs. Us country boys used to go in there and work in the winter when nothing doing on the farm to make a little money. Our dad wasn't making no money and didn't have no money to give us. And to make a little money and buy some clothes and spend, we'd go down the straw board work. And I fired in there, not a long time, years time, but I fired in the boilers. He had 2 fireboxes he fed, one fireman. He had 2 to 4 wheelers bring the coal to you. And I'd dump it right there and the wheeler in. And worked 12-hour shifts.
What would they pay you?
We got about $2 for 12 hours.
Who owned the factory then?
Well, it was a straw board. That was a company. I don't know. But tell you who always hired us was Charlie Kohler.
Charlie Kohler?
Yeah.
And,
He was the boss over everything, getting the help and everything. I didn't know what he was. He had a farm out there with a schoolhouse I'm telling you about. Harry Jackson had the first farm, and he had the next one. And they hauled all the straw in there from all the country with mules. And that was Charlie's job, but he could get you a job there. Anybody boys you know, he'd get us a job.
Well, in other words, you were neighbors, and you'd just go see him and get a job?
Yeah, well, no, I lived then over south, out the Hunger farm. But then we know him from over there. So. Yeah, I'd go to him anytime to get a job and work. He'd just take himself to the boss before he worked. Well, I never worked in that much. I never liked that.
But you did not have a formal application or...
Oh, no. He'd go up there and see old Charlie and find him. He'd be second in always. He'd got up. What did I do for you? I said, trying to get a job. Well, let me see. So-and-so needs a man, and need a man down here. What kind of job do you want to do? I said, you're fireman, ain't you? Yeah. All right, just take you down. Just take you down and say, put this man to work. And give him work. So there was to it.
I've heard so much about the men that brought the straw into the...
Oh, yeah.
Do you remember that?
Oh, yeah. I tried one time and I couldn't load.
Why? Well, tell me, what was it like? How did you do it, and who owned the horses and the mules?
Well, they hired the straw board owned 300 head of mules. And Charlie Kohler was the head of that department. And that's where I got acquainted with him, hauling corn, selling corn. They always paid 2 or 3 cents more than a bushel in the elevator to get you shoveled off in their bins. Well, and they had maybe 50, maybe 100 wagons rigged up to haul straw. of these mules, and they hired drivers. But you had to learn how to load them loads, and I never learned that.
What was the secret?
Just that making it nice square and put a hell of a lot on. I never get enough on to suit them. It'd fall off.
Yeah.
And Earl Undernow, my brother-in-law, he hauled several years, and he was a good store hauler.
But did he work for Starboard, or did...
No, he worked his own team. And then they didn't have enough mules and teams, and they'd hire any farmer that had a good team. They'd furnish the wagon, and you take your team and give you $3 a day, you and your team. I remember that. That's the way I tried it, but I couldn't let go of it. I couldn't load.
You couldn't get enough on there.
Oh.
Yeah.
I'd come in shirt tail full, and
Yeah.
wasn't very long, and I quit. Before I got fired.
Yeah. Well, I'm going to have to talk to Earl Unger about this, loading it right.
Oh, yeah, you asked him about hauling straw.
Yeah.
And me and Earl Unger, we worked a lot together. Me and him hauled logs a couple winters together.
Where was that?
Right there. He lived there. You go out Pike Street when you go way out there. The end of it, the Yankee Road. You know where the Yankee Road is? The big cement house sits right there. That's where Earl and his wife lived. And his dad, his mother got killed on a streetcar. Streetcar run over up on Wabash Street. There scared the horse in front of him, the building killed him. And so Earl lived there, and he was my brother-in-law, which is older than me. He was married when I was in school then. And but that's where he lived, and then he had kept a good him, and he moved in there. And we lived on the old man's farm down by Mill Creek. The old man owned about 300 and some acres down there. My daddy rented that. Well, that took me and Earl together a lot. We all logs. Oh, I don't know, 2 or 3 winters. We'd do that when the farming was no good. Earl, he always had plenty of money. He didn't have to work, but he'd get out and haul logs and team. He liked the team. So he would do all sorts.
Where would you sell the logs or haul them to?
Oh, say most of them went there to South Wabash. Had an old man.
Down there by the creamery, or?
No. Way up there. On Pike Street before you come to Vernon. Civic Street back in there. I think that's there yet.
There was a log...
Big sawmill back there.
Sawmill back there.
Yeah, I can't think of the old man's name. No man on it. Oh, yeah, there was... Them farmer boys all haul logs in the winter. Hell, there's 25, 30 loads a day come in there. Great big field full of logs. I can't think of the old fellow's name. There's no popular name. That's where all the logs came. You got paid so much, 1,000 feet, 40 feet. 1,000 feet was a hell of a big load. Journey 7,800 was about that load.
What did you do then after building the cut and the war, and then where'd you go?
After the war?
Yes.
Well, I worked on D.A. Pike Construction Company. They dug up east of Wabash. They dug a big ditch and run into the Wabash River. I operated on the dredge there. Maybe not a couple years, about a year. Then we went to the upper Wabash when the dredge dipped. I worked on a double boom dredge there.
What were they dredging Wabash for in those days?
Just to let the flood water out. I took this side of Huntington up the other side of Belgium.
Just to make a deeper channel.
Yeah. Straighten the channels up.
Yeah.
I worked up there, and we put this big ditch in for D.A. Pike. He owned all them farms up where they grow pike from Wabash. Commencing about town, pretty they grow, he owned the whole country. ODA. You heard of him, huh? beds, you know. And he had a big sawmill. Actually, his business sawmill. And he got out another business, got a contract. Him, well, I mean, Ralph Sullivan got to building roads. And lost the butt. And come back from forward, there's nothing. He started a little sawmill up back and while he grew into a pretty good factory.
This is tape 3, Wellington, McKinney.
Yeah.
Okay, now we were
Where was he?
we were talking about operating steam equipment for,
Yeah.
and then you were going to tell me about the. You just talked about Pike and Sutherland Lumber
Yeah.
Company, and then you were.
Sullivan, yeah. Well, that's about. He went broke trying to work for him. They didn't have him to work with. He didn't have no job himself. But he still retained that big fine house up on Main Street there in Wabash. He retained that thing. And ODA was quite a financier, he'd give him something, he'd push her, he'd never go. Mean as hell.
How about this steam shovel that you worked on in Logansport at one time?
Well, yeah. Well, I went down there and had a job running on a steam shovel. And they hired me, I had little papers and stuff to show the experience, you know. They hired me and sent me down that hole out there and put me on a steam shovel, and there's a 5-yard dipper on an awful big one. Biggest one I'd ever seen. And they put me on running the crowding engine. You set out there about 20 feet out the boom, had a seat up there and a bunch of levers, and you had an engine right there in front of you, a steam engine right there, built right in that boom. Your crane man would bring you around and drop you down, then you loaded that. You run the loading part. When you got it loaded, well, he'd hoist her up, swing her around, and you had the lever to pull to dump it. You had to work with a runner. A guy we called the runner. He was the head engineer. Mm-hmm. And I run crowding, and that was hot in there. I couldn't take it. Oh, it was hot down there.
How about
that was an old steam shovel that they had bought from the company that put the Panama Canal in. It was the biggest shovel in this part of the United States, I guess.
And then where'd you go?
Oh, I don't know. I always wind up back home with my dad on the farm.
But you were married these years, right?
No, it wasn't then yet.
Yeah.
Oh, I'm talking about before I was married. After I married, I worked for D.A. Pike now after I was married. It wasn't the only job I ever had for anybody else after married. Then I went out all west of Lakeland, rented a big farm right through the depression of it. Well, we sold corn for 12, 15 cents a bushel. And you just couldn't make it on the farm. Then I got back to working for contractors again, because I knowed something. I got back working for contractors. And they double-tracked the year I worked on it about 8 months. That was another steam engine job.
That was up by Laketon?
Yeah, Laketon West. I worked between there and Rochester. And because my farm was right along there, and hell, I was starving to death. Had big cribs full of corn and stuff and couldn't give it away. So I went down there and seen them contractors, and they put me to work. And that was I had a narrow gauge railroad hauling material to build the track. When they double track them, the main track was in. On the disco there was sinkholes, and you couldn't fill them up. You pour it in there day after day, and there'd be a hill raised up out there. They couldn't, they put piling in there, and they finally got it done. Train loads of dirt went in there.
So the farm wasn't a very pleasant experience in the
No, we had a good time, good living, enjoyed ourselves and everything, but my wife wasn't no farmer. She didn't like it. And we're back to primitive days of living, and it was pretty rough going to have any money.
You had all the children by this time also.
No. A couple. I had a couple born in Peru after 1930.
Well, then you got off the farm.
Yeah.
Then where'd you go?
Well, I come down to Wabash, worked at Hawkeye Oil Company, drove tank wagon. Finally got to be the agent. Then they transferred me to Peru.
You're working for the Hawkeye Oil.
Yeah, all right. Then they had done a pretty good job as agent over there. Put them on the map. We had a service station right there at Corner Canal and
Huntington.
Huntington. No,
Allen?
west.
West?
Yeah, First Street West.
Miami?
Miami. At George Hipkins had a coal officer, and we had a service station out there. And Honeywell was the next. It was right on that corner. Well, I put them over pretty big up there, and then I got a job being kind of supervisor. At Peru, they had a place that compounded oil. And several carload a day for mixing different grades of oil. And they learned me that and sent me down and put me in charge of the plant. I had that till they sold out the diamond and my job was done.
And you were out again.
They sold out the diamond tea.
Yeah. What'd you do then?
Went in the garage business.
Where?
Right here, out on 6th Street. But garage business stayed in that till up to 36, all through Depression. I was in garage business in Depression. 36, I went to fruit business for fatties.
Here in Peru?
Yeah.
How'd that come about?
Oh, they was broke. I was too. We had 2 or 3 old trucks. They didn't even have a truck, so we got all together and went to business.
Yeah. Who were the Italians?
Oh, Joe Caruso, Joe Katzenthal, that the father and son-in-law. They had a little money. And then Frank Russo, Sam Russo, Mike Russo, me, we had one company. But it was another company. And Logan Sport, we affiliated with Tony Palumbo. We wasn't small. We got pretty big.
Were you a partner then?
Yeah. And we divided up. Some died, and some got too old, and some got it made. And divided up. And I took all the equipment and everything I had around there. I had 11 trucks. I worked 11 trucks in the time, right up here. Yeah, I had a big fruit house right up here. Finally sold out. Got old and legs went bad and sold out.
What year would that have been?
Huh?
What year was that you sold out?
1960.
1960?
Yeah.
You got out of it altogether then?
Yeah. I retired then.
Yeah. Let's go back to the Depression days.
Well,
What do you remember of the Depression? Pleasant or unpleasant?
well, it was pretty unpleasant. I had a garage north on Broadway then, a little garage. I lost a big one. When the bank closed, I lost a big garage. I had on 6th and Jefferson. I went north on Broadway and built a garage out there. And I had to hold about 5 cars. But nobody had any money to get a car fixed to it. If you fixed anything, you'd wind up a hole. If it cost $1 to get a piece for it, you had to spend $1, you couldn't fix it, and they didn't have $1. You'd wind up spending money fixing the cars. But then that's the way she went. Then, PWA come along. Put a lot of them guys to work for 2.5 a week. And I had about 2-3 old trucks that accumulated around the garage. And so I let them have them trucks. Let PWA have them. And they put a man on to drive them and give me half of the take.
Uh-huh.
So that seen me through depression pretty good. I wound up with no trucks and no money, but it put us through. And then we hauled it. I had one good truck. I never let nobody else drive it. And we hauled a lot of freight in for the commissary store.
Uh-huh.
I hauled out of Indianapolis. I had $15 a round trip to Indianapolis, 5-ton load. Coming back, go down there after 5-ton, bring it back.
Yeah.
Flour, meat, and whatever you had, you down there. I get $15 and furnish my own gas.
Did you make out at $15?
Yeah, I made a little money and what I stole.
Yeah. What you got to eat yourself, huh?
Well, that wouldn't be interesting. But when you do them trucks, you live pretty good.
Yeah. You got little to eat then, too.
Little hams and stuff on there went home.
Yeah.
Not nobody had anything, and they all growling and going on, but they all lived.
Yeah.
If they couldn't work, got 2.5 a week. That's what they got allowed.
Mm-hmm.
$2.50 worth of groceries a week for work and cutting wood or something, ditching or something. Them fellows, but they always lived good. Because them guys that run them stores, you'd come in there with the family and be out of flour. Hell, you got a sack of flour. You want the ham meat you got if they had it. It wasn't worth nothing.
Yeah. Did you look on those, the kids some were young yet?
Yeah. I had 4 kids were in school.
Mm-hmm.
And we had a little trouble clothing them.
Mm-hmm.
But I always could go out that old garage and pick up $1. And one time I put a big sign up, $5 any car brought in under its own par. And they drove some pretty damn good cars in there and took the $5 for them while I junked them. Sell a tire, generator, or something off of it, and just armed the rest of it. That kept a wolf in the door for me. And this little job hauling commissaries with PWA. So we made it through and come out all right.
It wasn't a very pleasant time, was it?
Oh, no, and I'd lost all that money down in the bank.
Yeah, let's talk about the bank. That's interesting, too.
Well,
How much did you have in the bank?
I had $16,000 in the bank. And I took in $4,000 that day to deposit. It was the last of the month of the first of the month, long and last of the month. And I had done a lot of business. I'd run a pretty big place, working 4 or 5 men. And I'd always pay my bills once a month. So I sat down that night. I put this $4,000 in and bounced my books, and I had $20,000 in the bank. I had about $6,000 worth of checks to get out. The bills I owed for parts and my payroll and things. And I sat down that night and wrote that all out and sent checks in, and they all come back. No paid, no funds. And I was out of business.
Yeah.
Couldn't get no more parts. I was out of business.
Yeah. The bank had closed in the
Yeah, and the bank closed that day.
Yeah.
The day I sent the checks out, the day they closed.
Yeah.
I didn't know it.
So you lost your 20,000 plus your...
Yeah.
What'd you do then?
Well, I hassled around and worked around here and there as a mechanic, just... then I went and built that little garage out north.
Yeah.
And I made it from there on junking cars and things.
Were you mad at the banking or the system?
Oh, hell yeah.
What'd you do about it?
Well,
You seem to be rather calm today about it.
Yeah, it's been a long time.
Been a long
That
time,
right,
yeah.
a long time to cool off.
Yeah.
Oh, Dick Chamberlain was the head of the bank. I threatened to kill him. Which, me and him was good friends. He didn't know it any more than I did. He lost 2 or 3 big farms in the deal. I don't know, just had to cool down and take what they sent bankruptcy man in, you know, to straighten her up. You know what I mean? I got about 15%. Finally, after 2 or 3 years.
Did you have to go bankrupt yourself then?
I didn't go bankrupt, no. I just lost everything I had.
Everybody was in the same boat.
Yeah. Wasn't no use to declare bankruptcy. I didn't have nothing to bankrupt.
Yeah. How about going back a little bit further in the 1920s? How about the Ku Klux Klan? Did you ever join or?
No, I joined them. Me and Ray Hipskin had a hell of a fight with them one time.
What happened?
I hit him in the head with a club. Old Ray took him off a horse, and I got him and freaking killed him right there on Canal Street in Wabash.
Was that a parade or?
Yeah.
Yeah. And this Ku Klux man in a hood came along?
Come along, laid me one on the head with a cane.
Yeah.
And Ray grabbed him. Me and Ray were standing there together. Pulled him off a horse, and that time I shook my head and come to, and I got that guy. I freaking killed him. I wouldn't have got me over him.
Yeah. Why did he hit you on the head?
Because I didn't take my hat off to the flag. We didn't see no flag.
Yeah.
Me and Ray Hipkins talked about that after. We know enough to take the hat off when the flag passes. But he was riding way ahead. And we'd never been to parade, didn't know how it went.
Mm-hmm.
Me and old Ray standing there like a couple of big dummies.
Yeah.
And I got hit in the head. Oh, I'll tell you a little fun about the Ku Klux Klan.
What was that?
Well, in your run around now, you've heard tell of Charlie Boldy,
Sure. Yes.
Chief Police,
Yes.
Mayor Wilson,
Yes.
Pete Jones, the Undertaker,
Right.
George Hipskin, me, Leo Bosky. He made them firefighters over at Logan. He lived up Wellington. And there was more than that. I just didn't think of it. Well, we went out to the river and built a cabin. That's when I was in the oil business. I had a little money, and they all had money. Bootleg whiskey on these. And so the guy come in my office, had a keg of whiskey to sell. So I called George Hipskin up. George said, buy it, $200. He said, we'll cut 4 ways, $50 a piece. Me and Charlie Boldy, Mayor Wilson, Pete Jones. And he said, you can bring something off the flag you want to, and George, he wanted a nip. You know. Well, they took some out, and the keg of water had been cupped. They bought a pint of whiskey in there in a cup. Took that store and said, there's a mighty fine whiskey. And you run out and punch around, there's just a cup up there full of water. That guy had his $200 and I'd paid him. Oh, Doc Wilson, oh, you catch that son of a bitch, Charlie Chief Police, you catch that son of a bitch, I'll give him life.
That's when the mayor acted as judge.
Yeah.
Yeah.
You catch him, bring him, I'll give him life. Hell, we didn't know him, we never caught him.
Yeah.
I was the only one that had any deal to him.
Yeah. So you were out the 200?
No, they all paid their part.
Yeah.
No, they were good guys.
Yeah. That was pretty slick, wasn't it?
Yeah. Then another time, the Ku Klux, we bought this whiskey to take out to the cabin.
Yeah.
Oh, we was out the cabin, we had some whiskey, and had a turtle fire and a ground old fire or something. Had something going on. There was about 7, 8 of us there. And we were drinking, playing cards, and having a pretty good time. Got ready to come home along 12, 1 o'clock. Up on a hill was a big cross burning. We was all Catholics. in this deal. And poor Doc Rosen said, "Look at them son of a bitches." They think they're going to scare us out. So we all had drove our own cars there for some reason. We didn't know how to go together. I was about the second one out and got out. Pete Jones was on the tail end. And he had a brand new Dodge car. They'd put a log chain around the axle of his car and took around a tree. And we'd all left and got out of there, see. And old Pete sat there and just tore his car up. Tore the whole back end up. Old Pete's still living, is he? I thought Pete's still living.
No.
Oh, he was quite a character.
Yes, he was. I think the cabin's still up on the river. I think the kids still use
That
it.
might be. I don't know about it.
I think the grandchildren still use
Well, us buddy that was went together and built that thing. Bought a little piece of land, if I remember right. Maybe I didn't have too much money in it, because I was a good guy.
it. Had a lot of fun.
Yeah.
Well, how
Yeah.
about raising the family now? How about the...
Me?
Yeah, about
Oh, just ordinary. Just reason.
just...
I had a rough, through depression, I had a rough time after that. Didn't have much trouble. After I got the fruit business, I made a lot of money.
Did you, how many boys and how many girls? And
3
what order?
boys and 3 girls.
What order did they come in then?
Well, the oldest was a girl, then a boy, then a girl, then a boy. That's the 4 oldest ones. See, I had a daughter married when the last girl was born. I got a daughter that's only me. 30 or something. Well, anyhow, I had 2 families. I had one family about raised, and we had 2 more kids. Charles on South Peru, and Barbie, she's in Indianapolis. They was kids, and the others are married and gone.
Did you find that interesting to raise a second family after you'd been
Yeah, it was a lot easier done.
Because you'd been through everything.
Well, I had money then.
Yeah.
I'd worked on enough
Got
money.
enough money.
The others were raised up with patched up stuff.
Yeah. So it was much easier then.
Yeah. And we got one more running my yard. Well, yeah, that's about all I know. I guess, I don't know. Oh, I can talk. Them things that come up, you remember. I ordered a hell of a fisherman. I fished her into a little bit of a kip. My dad took me at 3, 4 years old, marked me to fish, and I fished up till I got decapitated and can't walk. So, I learned all my kids is all fishermen.
Did you ever think you'd live this long?
No, 83 is a pretty ripe old age. When I was a kid, that was awful old. It ain't now. So I know lots of people older than me. Like Earl Hunter, he's 94.
That's your brother-in-law.
Yeah. 95 he is now. 12 years older than me.
When did your wife die? What year?
69.
69.
Yeah. 6 years. It'll be 6 years this fall.
Was she sick a long time?
Yeah. Well, she went through a severe sickness, a colostomy operation, stuff, had cancer of the colon. And got out of that. And my old family doctor, which was Doc Hurd, told me, he said, Mike, he said, no, don't think this permanent is not. He said, I've known him living 3 years, just never over that, hardly ever. He said, do it. So about 2 years, come back on her. And that time she had about a year, she was small and sick on that time.
We never talked much about your wife's family. What did her...
I don't know much about them.
What was her maiden name?
McGinnis.
McKinney. And where was she from?
Right there, South Wabash.
South of Wabash.
Yeah, right. South. West Columbus Street. I think it's 11... No, 1214, I think. Her sister lives there now. She'd be a good one you talk to.
I'll bet you would.
She never was married. She knows everybody's business from Indianapolis to Chicago.
How about, what did her father do? What did your
He
father
was a cement contractor.
Yeah.
Just built steps and porches and things like that. Just,
And were you two ever close at all?
no.
Took his daughter and left, huh?
Yeah. No. I think I worked for him maybe, one time I wasn't doing something, and I think I worked 4 or 5 days for him. Done some little job. Done a little job, all the whites a lot to south. Put in a well, and didn't put a well in, put a system in, and just put something I don't know. that cement wasn't nothing for me. I mean, like, stuff wasn't for me.
If you were talking to your grandchildren or your great-grandchildren, what advice would you have for them at 83?
Well, I'd tell them, try to be honest.
It's extremely difficult nowadays.
As much as they could, and be smart and don't get caught.
Did you always chew, Mac?
Yeah. My dad learned me chewing as a kid. I had toothache. And we shucking corn. I was a big boy. You put a little less in there. He always chewed it like that. In 2 weeks I chewed more tobacco than he ever chewed it.
Yeah, in 2 weeks.
Yeah, and I was about 15 years old.
How about, we haven't talked about the WAA. What
Well,
was your-
no. Well, and we had a ball team around there, and they called themselves the WAAs. And there's in their history around, you should run into Billy Jones
Yes?
outfit. He's dead, of course. Well, Billy kind of daddied that ball team. And then he but furnished the money to build a WAA gymnasium.
Yeah.
And he owned the ball team. Say he owned it, hell, $25 the most students ever got for playing games. But that was just it, and I was with him about 6, 8 years.
Football?
Yeah. Oh, yeah.
What did you play with?
Played center. Honk Snyder and me. Honk was the number 1 man, and I was the number 2 man. You know, when he couldn't play or got hurt, I played. I backed him up. Honk Snyder had the chair factory down there.
Yeah. Oh, right. How about some of the other players that you remember were
Oh,
outstanding?
Red Milner, he was a quarterback. I passed many a ball to him. And the Yarnell boys, the Ridenour boys, the Reno boys. I'm talking about one of his brothers playing. Quarter boys, Oscar Bricker. Oh, I don't know.
Do you remember any?
Doc Fisher he was a great football player. He kind of coaches. He didn't play, but he was kind of, I think he had some money in the outfit. And Billy Jones. Billy Jones put the money up for the outfit. And Doc Canfield,
Did he play?
yeah, he played some, but he was getting a little past age. You know, he was getting a little older than the rest of us. He was older than we were.
Did you play games other than in Wabash? Did you go
Oh,
to
yeah.
Marion?
Yeah. Hell, we was a champion for 6 states for 8 years.
Yeah.
Hell, yeah. I played Cincinnati, and I played Fort Wayne, I played Indianapolis, and I played St. Louis. And, well, we took the championship. We were the champions.
Were these men college athletes or had never gone to college?
So the Yarnell boys went to college, and probably, well, doctors, they'd been to college, but that didn't, no. Old Doc Fisher kind of worked that thing up. He was a hell of a football player, I guess, in college.
Mm-hmm.
He didn't play with us, but he showed us how.
Do you guys have a lot of fun?
Oh, yeah.
Traveled by car, train,
Train.
interurban?
Interurban,
Yeah.
yeah. Oh, yeah, I played all over the goddamn country. I was a second, what you call a second string man.
Yeah.
They carried, instead of, today they carry 33 men, and then they carried 22.
They had
One backup man.
for everybody.
Well, I was a backup man for Honk Snyder. He got shit knocked out of him, I took over. If he didn't feel good that day, I played. I played about as much as he did.
Did you enjoy it?
Oh, yeah. Yeah.
Remember any particularly exciting games or anything?
Oh, no.
Anything that stands out in your memory?
Dutch Bergman, a great athlete, he played with us.
Dutch Bergman?
Yeah, from Peru here. He just died a while back. He played with us, and the Renzel boys in Peru played with us. There was quite a few in Peru played on that team.